Very excited to have back on the show pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, Matt Gage. Welcome back to the Walk-Off Man.
Appreciate you guys having me again.
Felt pretty good just saying that, honestly. Last time we had you on it, you were introduced as a pitcher for the Buffalo Bison, so that's pretty darn cool, buddy. Congrats on the jump.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It's definitely still hasn't set in yet that I'm still a big leaguer.
I was going to ask you that if, like, the last 6 weeks must have just felt like a buzzsaw.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been wild. It's been a crazy few weeks. It's just been up and down, like where like I was going down and then I wasn't going down, and then I was going down, and then I wasn't going down, then I actually did come down. So it's been wild, but it's part of the game. And I loving doing this. And I always said when I was younger, when you have options, it's still a good thing because you're still part of the 40-man roster and you can still go up and down whenever you want. So it's part of the game, and I'm still happy just to be a part of this.
Well, that's a very good mindset to have. And so let's kind of start with that, where you're at. You're in Iowa right now. You were on the taxi squad. Now you're back with Buffalo, and you could be yo-yoed back up at any moment, right?
Correct. And that's just part of it. It's where, it's when you got options, it's part of the game. And where, if guys take it personal, you come back down here and you don't do so well, then, your performance doesn't, you don't do well in the field. So your performance goes down, and then you might not be the next guy to come back up. So you just got to take it in stride and just come down here, pitch the way you're going to do it. And just hopefully you get another chance to go back up there.
Well, numbers-wise and performance-wise, you've done everything this organization could have asked you of. So let's start with the good stuff, okay? Let's start with the debut, because this is what everyone keeps writing in about and asking us to have you back on about, is they want to know about your experience. Because you waited a long time for this, right?
Yeah.
Like, you waited a long time for this. So what was that call up like? How did they let you know? And how much of a whirlwind was that 48 hours after they told you were going to the bigs?
So it was kind of crazy because we were in Rochester, and it's only an hour and a half from Buffalo. So we get down in Rochester, we driving over to Buffalo. Me and my wife just check into the hotel, and all of a sudden I get a call from Candell, who's the manager down here. And he goes, "Hey, you're going to meet the team at the airport." I go, "Excuse me?" He goes, "Yeah, you're going to meet the team at the airport. So you got to come to the field, pack up your stuff, and then get over to the airport. You're going to go to Kansas City with the team." He said, "Now, you're not definitely going to be active, but at least you're going to go with the team. So congratulations, you deserve it, everything." Just really praised me for how hard I've worked. And I said, "Thank you." And so me and my wife kind of scrambled because we thought I had to be at the airport in like 5 minutes. So luckily the team travel secretary called me, and he was like, "Hey, you got 2 hours," because they had to drive from Toronto to Buffalo to clear customs and fly out of Buffalo. So at least I had a little bit of time. So packed all my stuff, ran over to the field, packed all that stuff, got to the airport, flew with the team on the private charter. And I'll tell you what, that plane is gigantic. It's crazy. But
a little better than a bus?
a little bit. So we get to Kansas City, sleep in the hotel, get to the field the next day. And as soon as I walk in, Pete brings me into Charlie's office, and he says, "Hey, man, we're really excited to have you. It's been a blast to watch you pit throw down there. You're active tonight." I said, "Excuse me?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're going to be active. Congratulations, you're a big leaguer." And I was like, "Okay, I appreciate it." And then we had the rain delay, and that was really, really long. And luckily enough, we were winning 6-0. And I actually called down and asked Romano if he wanted to pitch, and they allowed me to throw instead of him because he had some time off. But so I'm appreciative of that, and got the throw when the clock struck midnight Central Time.
What was it like coming out of the pen in a big league uniform for the first time?
Honestly, like when you get to Kansas City, because I've seen it when the Giants play series, just like it was kind of surreal because I came up in the Giants system, watched them win a World Series there. So it's like, okay. And then you're looking around and it's like, this is just a bigger stadium. And then you run into the game and it's just the same game. but really didn't hit me until when the PA announcer said making his major league debut. And then I was like, wow, this is a little different. But that only lasted for about 5 seconds. And then after that, it was, all right, go time. It's the same game, and we're just ready to go. And Mount's still 60 feet, 6 inches, and I faced 3 of their best hitters. So it was just go.
I loved watching it too, because it was one of those things where like you could tell the moment was big, and you get on the mound and like those first 2 pitches just a little bit high, a little bit out of the zone, and then you just kind of locked it in like it was just baseball, right?
Exactly. And honestly, my foot slipped on the first 2 pitches, so I was like, all right, just throw the ball in the zone, just get strike 1, get the first strike in there, and then go from there. Other than that, it was the same game. So like I said, it was fun to be a part of, and it's awesome that I'm having this opportunity and just being able to be part of the Blue Jays organization.
Was your family able to come to that first game, or was it a little bit too tight on time? They were there, weren't they?
Yeah. So I made the phone calls, and my family said they didn't care if I was going to be activated or not. So they said, we're just going to come, and it's going to be fun to see you at a big league field. So my parents, my wife, my father-in-law, my brother, his wife, and my agent all came. My mother-in-law ended up not being able to come because she was babysitting our dog. But she did come out to Detroit. Unfortunately, I didn't get the pitch in Detroit, so she still has yet to see me throw in a big league game live. But I did have 7 people there for my debut, so it was pretty cool to see. And Showman was saying, I think this is the family, because this is the only 7 people cheering at midnight and special time. So, yeah, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's very cool. I love that they were able to make it down there, especially considering if there's anyone who knows the struggle and the path and the time that you put into this journey, it is those people. So it must have been pretty darn cool after the game to have the family down on the field and just be living out a dream.
For sure. It was amazing. Well, first we went in the clubhouse and we had to celebrate because we won. And then we also celebrated me making my debut, and Teoscar, I think he had his 500th career hit that same game or something like that. But
yeah,
we got to celebrate together, and it was pretty wild. And the guys made it feel like I was one of them, and it was great to be a part of. Had a beer shower, and so I had to get cleaned up a little bit, and then went back out, took some pictures, and it was surreal. You never think you're ever going to step on a big league mound and what it's going to feel like. Like you can dream about it all the time, and you just never know what that feeling is until it actually happens. And it's like, it's crazy to think about that. You sit there for so long, and you finally get there, and it's the same game. Like it's not no different. It's the same game, but it's the word I used for it was not surreal and not satisfied, but it was sorry, I'm drawing a blank. It's almost like you proved yourself enough where you got there. What's the word I'm looking for? Validating. There we go. Validating.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah. Sorry about that. But
we'll clip that. It'll look like you found it on the first try.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Editing magic.
Validating is what I'm looking for. Yeah. Yeah.
So this might be a weird question, being that right now you're back with the Bison, but I mean, you have put up great numbers. You've done everything that Charlie has asked you to do. What has it been like to kind of gain the trust of your manager? Because they obviously picked their spots with you to ease you in to start with. But again, you've been so great and so consistent. You've kind of moved up the pecking order there and have seen some high leverage innings. How is your confidence feeling?
Confidence wise is about the same still. Just I'm going to go out there and I'm going to attack and do what I do. And but it is pretty validating again, where it's like, all right, Charlie's going to call down, and if we need someone to stop the bleeding in situations where what I was doing at the time, it was just, all right, go in, get an out, let the offense get back out there, try to let them score some runs, go out another inning, put up 3 quick outs, and see if you can set the tone and try to let the hitters get some momentum back. And sometimes it worked, and sometimes it just didn't. It's baseball. So, but having Charlie trust me a little bit more is awesome because, like you said, you get eased into it. You get some of those blowout games to kind of see where you're at, type of stuff. Get your feet wet, and then it's go time. Once Charlie's got your confidence, when any big league manager has confidence in you, it's go time, and it's get outs. If you don't, then it's the next guy. It's just that simple.
Well, so I know this is pretty cool because last time we chatted, Matt, you talked about Casey Lawrence and how he's a guy who really kind of helped you get acclimated in Buffalo, and he's a leader and a guy who's fun and funny in the clubhouse. And then all of a sudden, you're in the big league bullpen with him. What was that experience like, having a bud right there next to you?
It was awesome. It's funny because my velo dropped just about 1 or 2 miles an hour, and then Casey came back up, and we were in Chicago, and Casey ended up getting optioned, and then Casey came back up. So I got to throw with Casey. Casey's my throwing partner, and so he texted me, and he's like, "Well, it just took a couple of days of throwing with me to get your velo back." And so it's that type of friendship that we have, and it was awesome to be able to sit next to him in the bullpen. But unluckily for him, it wasn't very long. One of the games where I think he got in the second inning or something like that. But he's getting the opportunities, and he's just like me. We're just trying to take it in stride and try to do what we can. And whenever something happens, because he ended up just coming back down yesterday, or he just got here yesterday or something like that. But we're just taking it in stride. And whenever you get the opportunity, you get the opportunity. And great to have someone that coming up and being a part of spring training with, and going through Buffalo with, and then being together. It's just fun to be a part of, and having that connection is really good.
Going through some of the same obstacles and struggles must be kind of like a nice support system, as you're both the yo-yos of the team right now, right? Yeah,
exactly. And that's what it is. It's just we yo-yo back and forth, and he has experience overseas. I have experience in Mexico, and just having that international baseball field and finally getting opportunities at the big league level again for him. And for the first time for me, it's just having that connection, being able to do it with someone that's kind of, like you said, going through the same stuff. So it's part of the game, and it's funny how many connections guys have through this game. It's baseball's a small world, and it's really crazy.
Just a shared experience. Love to hear it, man. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us again. We do really appreciate it. I'm going to throw to Adam here. I know we've got some listener questions. Before I do that, though, what was your favorite park in the big leagues so far? Did you have one?
It's got to be the Rogers Center so far. I went to Kansas City. Kansas City was nice because it had the fountains. Detroit was pretty cool because it has all the monuments and or all the statues and plaques and everything. It's just baseball history. Chicago is pretty cool because it's all blacked out, but it's really hot. It was really hot there. It was like 104 degrees when we were there, but it was still pretty cool. Fans were ruthless, which is pretty fun, part of the game. And then we went to, after Chicago, we went to Milwaukee. Milwaukee was pretty cool too, especially with their roof. But I got to tell you, at the Rogers Center, when they open up the roof and you're sitting above the bullpen, looking out over the field, and you got fans right behind you, the sound system, there's just something about it. It almost feels like an NBA arena, and it's a baseball field. It's amazing, and it feels like the fans are on top of you, but they're not at the same time. And to me, it was one of the most greatest experiences I've had. Every time I get to go out there at the Rogers Center and just sit in the bullpen, even if I don't even pitch. And I actually put up a video on Instagram that one of the photographers took, and it was the 9th inning versus the Orioles, the first time I pitched for them. And the crowd gets into it, and it's like you can hear all the cheers and everything. And it's the 9th inning of a blowout game, and like the game's already over. And it's just I have to get the third out of the inning. And it's just like, and the fans just are in it, and it's awesome to feel. It's just echoing. But yeah, I have to say the Rogers Center so far. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right on. All right, Adam, all yours, buddy.
Okay, first one comes in from Mustard Tiger. Says, do high leverage innings actually feel any different than low leverage innings? Like when a cleaning up slop after a starter gives up 6 runs over 2 innings or something like that?
The only difference is a little bit of adrenaline, just because there's a little bit more pressure on you. Other than that, it's the same thing. You're just trying to get strike one, or you're trying to get a quick out. But the adrenaline gets going a little bit more in those high leverage situations. So that's about the only difference I'd have to say.
How does your mindset change? I'm just going to jump in real quick.
Yeah, please.
When there's runners on base, like, do you still try and, like, obviously you don't want them running on you, but do you still try and kind of keep the same mindset, or do you personally, your mindset change a little bit?
It changes from time to time. Depends on who the guy is running. So, like, when I came in versus Boston to face Dahlback and Verdugo is on second, the very first thing Charlie says to me and goes, "Stop his feet at second base," because he'll try to do some things out there. And I was like, okay. So it's like you got to pay attention to him a little bit more. So sometimes that you lose your focus at the plate because you're a little bit more focused on the runner. But with Dahlback, it was throw him a bunch of sliders, and I ended up walking him after getting 0-2. And he's a guy that's a free swinger that didn't swing the bat. So, and then luckily Arroyo hit into the line drive double play. But that's about it. You're just trying to focus on maybe stopping their feet. Maybe they're trying to run. Maybe you're trying to pick up something. But other than that, you just try not to lose your focus. And sometimes you do. It's just part of the game.
Right.
All right. Next one, a similar question to that, comes in from Greg. Wants to know, do high leverage innings feel any different at the MLB level compared to the high leverage innings you must have thrown at in AAA or at other points in your minor league career?
I would have to say not really. I think it's all the same. It's just one of those things is you just go out there. And again, I keep saying this, is just go out and get 3 outs as fast as you can. And, just try to attack the zone. And the adrenaline goes up and down. But, in Buffalo, I finally got to be a closer and feel like what the highest leverage in the minor leagues, I guess you can say, is. But when you're in the big leagues, it's just throw. And especially with that team, it's just get back in the dugout as fast as you can and let the offense do what it has to do.
It's kind of once the stress and the pressure melts away, it doesn't matter what level. It's still baseball, right? Is kind of what it breaks down to. Exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
You just gotta. But it is tougher to learn that, I will say. But once you learn it, it's pretty easy to trick your mind. And I've had some really good mental performance coaches through my career, so I'm very lucky to have that. And it's just one of those things. Is once you learn, it's just the same game, and you don't put any more pressure on yourself, whether it's one pitch or the next, or one inning or the next, or what the situation is. It's a lot easier to go and do your job and attack the hitter.
Perfect. All right, next one comes in from Ty. Says, random thought, but what's it like being a guy on the fringe of the MLB? I can't imagine the travel is enjoyable, especially when you need to go up and down from Buffalo on short notice. Love seeing you in the bigs this year. Can't wait to see you back up in the second half.
Well, I appreciate that, but the travel is a little wild, just because down here we have 6 games at a spot, so you always have every Monday off. So you the week feels not as short, honestly. Up there, you got 3 versus one team, 4 versus another. I mean, we had 5 versus Tampa in 4 days. So it was like, it gets on you quick. So that's the one thing that I'm learning up there is back to when the old minor league schedule was the same, was like, it goes fast, like 3 games and you're done. It's like, all right, like it's kind of whirlwind. It's You're just on go at all times. And then all of a sudden it's the end of the week and it's like, all right, we got a flight to catch. It's like, we just got here type of thing. At least down here, it's like, all right, you got a week in one spot. You're just going to, get your bearings, hang out for a week, and then leave on Monday and go. But it's just one of those things. It's part of baseball. And I look at it as now I get to tour. I get to go across North America and experience everything by the Blue Jays paying for it, basically. And I said the same thing when I was in the minor leagues. It was like, I get paid to see these places that I've never thought I would see. And that's the way you have to look at it, honestly. But it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it gets on you quick though up there.
Very, very cool. All right. Next one comes in from OB. Says, it seems to have really clicked for you this year. You've found positive results in both AAA and at the major league level. I'm curious to know what changed for you in your game that allowed you to make this dramatic progress.
The biggest thing, honestly, is the way the Blue Jays approach just attacking hitters. I'm having the catcher set up in the middle of the plate, and I'm attacking there. And when I was younger, and even last year with the D-backs, when I made this change, got the catcher would call fastballs inside, fastballs outside, fastballs up, fastballs down. I'm trying to hit like one small spot of the full strike zone. Whereas now the Blue Jays are just set up middle and throw it anywhere. Because more than likely than not, you're not going to throw a ball middle, especially with my movement. Like I cut my fastball, I throw a hard slider, and then coming down here, I just switch to a bigger curveball. So it's like more likely than not, you're not going to throw the ball middle if you aim middle. So it's one of those things is like now I'm aiming toward the middle of the plate, but I'm clipping corners when I miss. And if I don't clip a corner, well, then it's going to be in the third, but it's still going to be away or into, the batter. And it's just like, it's going to be on the plate. So I'm getting ahead more, throwing more competitive pitches where it's like, if you're trying to throw to a corner, you're trying to throw off the plate, and then all of a sudden those aren't competitive pitches. And so that's really my mind shift this year. And my focus is throw the ball toward the middle of the plate because it's not going to go there. And that's really what the Blue Jays kind of taught me when I came over here. And I've had a lot of success doing it. And my brother's a baseball coach, and I've told him about it, and he loves it. And so he might have his pitchers start to do it as well. But it's just about trying to throw as many competitive pitches as you can without wasting many pitches. And now, yeah, granted, don't want to throw the ball middle all the time. But like I said, with the stuff that I have, the ball's not going to go middle if I aim there, just because everything moves. So it's just one of those things is just knowing your numbers, like we talked about before, and using them to your advantage.
That's really interesting, Matt. That's a mental thing, eh? Even though, like, it's just trusting your movement, but then also being able to look at the catcher set up in the middle and being like, "Okay, well, I've got lots of area to hit here," right? Like, it's
exactly
a very mental part of the game. Yeah.
And now you're still aiming small, missing small. So it's not like I'm just trying to throw it to the catcher anywhere it is. So I'm still looking at the top of his mask and trying to throw it to that spot. But I just have trust that I know I'm going to throw the ball to the top of his mask and it's going to go somewhere. But it's going to go somewhere close to the zone where I might get a swing. I might get a competitive take. And there's not a lot of those pitches where guys just sit there and just like, no, I'm not going to even – that's not even enticing. So up in the big leagues, now that teams don't really know who I am, I do get some statues. Guys just kind of see there, try to take at least one, just to kind of check the movement. But down here, since guys have seen me, they're going up there and they're being more aggressive. So versus the Rays, they were doing a lot of damage in the first three pitches, but then guys would go up there like Yandy Diaz and just take three pitches in a row, and it's like you just swung at almost every pitch before this. Like, what are you doing? It's just one of those things. It's like, like they're trying to change their approach and try to see a new pitcher, and I'm trying to attack them one way, and that's the competitive nature of the game.
That's great. All right, last one here comes from Michelle. Says 4 weeks in the bigs. That's awesome. Did you make more money in those 4 weeks than in all other years in the minor leagues combined? P.S. It's frustrating that you are our best left-handed pitcher, but got sent down because you have options.
Again, I appreciate the support, and it's awesome. It's awesome to see the support throughout, even up there. But the money wise, especially on that contract that we signed when we first get drafted. I mean, I was just talking to guys yesterday when we got here. There's still guys making $1,000 every 2 weeks, and it's incredible to think about that. Playing AAA baseball, and you get paid $400 a week, and you get $500 a week, and it's just like. And luckily now the organization is paying for housing. When I came up, I was doing that and living in California. So I was basically paying to play AAA baseball, and it's tough. And like I said, it's validating to finally get to the big leagues, and that paycheck finally comes, and you're like, wow, that's a lot of money. But the way it kind of works is that we get taxed in the States and Canada. So I still need to get my Canadian Social Security number. So I'm still with some money still withhold up in Canada. So once that happens, I will get another lump sum coming my way. So that's not going to be too bad when it hits the bank account either. So, and then every day up there is really awesome. But it's not so much about the money right now, because you could go make $500,000 doing anything, and if you're not happy, it's not worth it. So
Yeah.
I'm just happy having the opportunity to do this, talk to you guys. Like this wouldn't happen if baseball wasn't around and I wasn't having a good year and I wasn't with the Jays. You know what I mean? It's just awesome to be a part of this, and it's still, like I said at the beginning of this, I still haven't wrapped my head around that I'm a big leaguer. It's crazy.
Well, Matt, we've been rooting for you, brother. It's been really cool to watch you make your debut and to see you. You know what, man? There's something to be said for stories like yours of the perseverance and the folks who stick around and continue with it until they finally achieve their dreams, man. Like, it is so cool. Congrats to you. All the best with the final half of the season here. Go Blue Jays, go. And again, thanks so much, Matt.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me again, guys.
Awesome. Right on, my dude. Really appreciate it. Enjoy your game today. Hopefully we can catch up maybe in a few months or whatever, and all the best to you, my man. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.